When Mr. Santosh Kumar Gangwar conducted a video conference with central trade unions, all of them appealed to Mr. Gangawar to see that the pending wages or denied wages are paid to the labor, workers and employees. Even as a center advising and releasing guidelines to states to open up the industries, institutions, etc. as part of the relaxations given even in red zones, the workers, labor and employees are forced to go to their working places. But the tragic fact is that they are not given wages for so many days. Not even 60%, 70% as government advised and asked them formally. Then the government of India has abridged labor laws, providing them security, certain rights, certain reliefs into 3 codes only. In fact, the shift, one shift is hiked from 8 hours to 12 hours. And the labor asks you to stay at the working place, whether it is construction or something like that. So all these things are going to burden the labor and workers like anything and leave them at the mercy of their owner, their proprietor, their boss, their investor. And then what about the arrears of these 2 months and earlier ones if there are? So these things trade unions brought to the notice of the minister and asked him to take action that these wages are paid. But the minister didn't respond to that. His only concern was and his only advice was that trade unions have to convince the labor and workers to return to their workplaces and cooperate with the management, irrespective of the arrears, pending arrears. That is the question. So it is very clear on whose side the government is. To make the matters more brazen, more worse further, Uttar Pradesh government, Madhya Pradesh government have very clearly bypassed and kept aside the labor laws and asked the managements to open their respective companies and organizations and go on with production, not to bother about the labor laws. With all the labor laws are in place, workers suffered a lot of pressure, exploitation, denial of wages, justice, etc. If the governments of the state and even center openly take the side of managements and allow them to bypass labor laws with impunity, what happens? Particularly in this partial lockdown days, where the system is in a standstill, where governments stand paralyzed, when entire authorities and officers in charge are engaged or even off duty at working from home, who looks after the welfare and security and minimum well-being of the labor and workers, those are returning to their work? This is a big question which Labor and Employment Minister Santosh Kumar has no answer. He didn't even reply to that. Even the tragic gas incident in Visakhapatnam, wherein sterile gas leaked in the midnight, causing death of 12 people and also creating alarming situation in 5-6 villages, is a grim reminder and how unsafe the companies are open. Certain things happened in NLC, in Chhattisgarh and several other places. So, reopening or restarting of the companies which are under lockdown for about 40 days is going to be a hazardous exercise. Whether adequate abundant precautions are taken or not, whether entire system which is of the line for all these days is on track, to start immediate production, and whether the welfare, whether the safety of workers is assured is a big question mark. Here in Visakhapatnam, LJ Polymers, even villages surrounding the factory are affected. So what would have happened if only there are labor in the workers and employees in the company is anybody's dangerous guess. So people like Arnab Goswami or anybody are great economists, scholars who always sing the praise of the powers that be, how to think a little at least about these workers who made the country move. Giving relaxations to the owners, managements is one thing, but allow minimum or minimum normal life to these people. Don't force them. This is a new normal without any security, any responsibility on the part of managements or governments.